Yes, you're so kind in noticing that. See, that is presence. Thank you.
Okay.
The only thing I did was I put the date and everything, but I didn't hit go live. Okay, now we are back. So, but anyway, the people on the live stream would not have missed anything because they'll be multitasking. They'll have this going on one hand and they'll be doing something else. Um, so the numbers that we were, the last guy had 5 billion chariots. That's the number. Is it real or fake?
It has to be real. Otherwise, why would they say it?
Okay, now I
It
will have
actually
an.
reminds me of something else. Actually, I don't know if I can mention it, but in Lalita Sahasranamam, Chatushashti Kalakot, like the 64 crore devatas, like there is a mention of that, and in one of the stories, they some uh, Bhaskaraya was asked, like, what are the names of those 64 crores devatas and their vahanas and wives' names and all those. And actually, Devi helps him say all those names. And actually, she actually says all those names in his voice. So I think this, when it is stated, it has to be real. It cannot be unreal.
That is belief. That's called faith. That's called belief. Let's be very honest.
Is it
How many people are there currently in the world?
upwards of 7 billion?
8 billion.
Okay. So if you rewind back and look at in time, hundreds of thousands of years ago, were there that many people?
Not like now.
Huh?
Not like now. A lot of less people.
So this is what I'm saying is a very important point. So I am talking like a rationalist. He's talking like a religious believer. Huh? You understand? Is this religious belief or is this true? This is important. Somebody, see, you go to tell this, oh, there were 5 billion chariots associated with this last guy, whoever his name is. Huh? Now, you tell this to somebody. What? 5 billion chariots? What is the population of the earth 10 years ago? What's the population of the earth last decade, last century? And you're telling this story happened centuries before. How can there be 5 billion chariots? Come on, take a reality shot.
I mean, that could be only in the earth plane, right? There are, in the scriptures, there are mention of 14 different worlds. So all put together could be that math.
See, now we are thinking. Now we are thinking. So nowhere in the story it is mentioned that this war happened on earth. And it did not entail who? Who did not fight in this war?
Humans.
Human beings.
Okay. Okay. So if the war is between demons and gods, is it conceivable that there are more gods and more demons than human population on earth at that point of time? See, this is, think about it. We can take it after the class because I want to hopefully finish this second chapter today. Having said that, what happened during this yesterday? We talked about the size of the mother, the inhalation, exhalations of the mother, becoming themselves masses of ganas, people emanating from the. Now, why I'm bringing this up? Hello, Sairam. Why am I bringing this up? The numbers, the numbers. if from her in exhalations in the war is creating innumerable number of soldiers, etc., so who is participating in the war? Not definitely humans, lot of beings that are created from this aspect of divinity's presence there. And as this is happening, the mother was, the mother's armies were fighting with all these ganas. And that is where we paused yesterday. So you can share the screen, Sairama, and follow. We are now getting to which 50, yes, 54. No, finished Devi Shakti Brahmita. Avadayanta Patahan Ganah Shankham Statha Pare Mrudangamscha Tathaivanye Tasmin Yuddha Mahotsave. In this Mahotsava, see that the word Mahotsava, for heaven's sake, there is a war going on. And the Rishi is saying it is Mahotsava. Utsava means a celebration. In this great celebration, he is saying, Avadayanta, Patahan, Ganah, all the troops of the mother. This is not a war for them. This is celebration for them. They are in Mahotsava. And in this is Yuddha Mahotsava. My God, what a beautiful word. Yuddha Mahotsava. The great celebration of war, the festival of war. Now, you use that word, the rationalist, the secularist will kill me. Come on, Shekharji, right now there is a Ukraine-Russia war going on. Is that Mahotsava? Is that a festival? Yes, that is not a festival. But this is a festival, and this festival, her troops were sounding Patahan, they're beating or they're playing Mridanga, Shankha, and so on, all the different instruments. Avadayanta Patahan,
Avadayanta Patahan.
Avadayanta Patahan,
Avadayanta Patahan. Avadayanta
Patak,
Patahan.
Gana, Gana Shankham Statha Pare,
Gana Shankham Statha Pare. Gana Shankham Statha Pare.
Mridanganscha Tathai, Mridangamscha Tathaivanye,
Mridangamscha Tathaivanye. Mridangamscha Tathaivanye.
Tasmin Yuddhamahotsave.
Tasmin Yuddha Mahotsave.
Sairama, there is a, maybe I am hearing wrong or you have the scale.
Yeah, I do.
Avadayanta Patakan Gana Shankam Statha Pare Mridangamscha Tathaivanye Tasmin Yuddhamahotsave.
Avadayanta Patahan Gana Shankham Statha Pare. Mridangamscha Tathaivanye Tasmin Yuddha Mahotsave. Avadayanta Patahan Gana Shankham Statha Pare. Mridangamscha Tathaivanye Tasmin Yuddha Mahotsave.
Tato Devi Trishulena Gadaya Shakti Rishtibhihi Khadgadebhischa Shatasho Nija Ghana Mahasuran. Then Devi Trishulena with her trident, Gadaya with her mace, Shakti Vrishtibihi, showers of all these spears. Khadgadibhishcha, also with swords. Shatasho, and other weapons, and using khadgadibhishcha, sword and so on, other weapons. Shatasho nijaghana, Mahasuran, killed hundreds of these great asuras. From here on, you will hear the most incredibly what we call as disturbing. This is for adults only. Under 14 should because it's the description of how the Devi is actually tearing apart all these bodies, etc. That's what we will see in the next few shlokas. Tato Devi Trishulena.
Tato Devi Trishulena. Tato Devi Trishulena.
I think the three has to be a little more holding. Tato Devi Trishulena.
Tato Devi Trishulena. Tato Devi Trishulena.
Gadaya Shakti Vrishti.
Gadaya Shakti Vrishtibihi. Gadaya Shakti Vrishtibihi.
Khadgadibhishcha Shatasho.
Khadgadibhishcha Shatasho. Khadgadibhishcha Shatasho.
Nijaghana Mahasuran.
Nijaghana Mahasuran. Nijaghana Mahasuran.
Tato Devi Trishul. Tato Devi Trishulena. Gadaya Shakti Vrishti. खड्गादिभिश्च शतशो निजघानमहासुरान्.
Tato Devi Trishulena Gadaya Shakti Vrishtibihi Khadgadibhischa Shatasho Nijaghana Mahasuran. Tato Devi Trishulena Gadaya Shakti Vrishtibihi Khadgadibhischa Shatasho Nijaghana Mahasuran.
पातयामास च एव अन्यान् घण्टास्वन विमोहितान् असुरान् भुवि पाशेन बद्ध्वा च अन्यान् कर्षयत्. She patayamasa, she grounded or made them fall on the ground. Patayamasa, brought them to the ground just by the sound of her bell. Ghantasvana vimohitan, bewildered by the sound of her bell, they fell on the ground. Asuran bhuvipashena badhva cha anyana karshayat. And then some of them, she actually, using her nose, she bound others with her noose. Noose, nose, not nose, noose. Noose is the pasham, and dragged them to the ground. Patayamasa chaivanyan.
Patayamasa Chaivanyan. Patayamasa Chaivanyan.
Ghantasvana vimohitan.
Ghanta Svanabhimohitan. Ghanta Svanabhimohitan.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is it my problem now? I don't know. Sometimes this Zoom doesn't allow for proper sound transmission. पातयामास चैवान्यान् घण्टास्वनविमोहितान्.
पातयामास चैवान्यान् घण्टास्वनविमोहितान् पातयामास चैवान्यान् घण्टास्वनविमोहितान्
असुरान् भुवि पाशेन
असुरान् भुवि पाशेन असुरान् भुवि पाशेन
बद्ध्वा चान्यानकर्षयत्
बद्ध्वा चान्यानकर्षयत् बद्ध्वा चान्यानकर्षयत्
पातयामास चैवान्यान् घण्टास्वनविमोहितान् असुरान् भुवि पाशेन बद्ध्वा चान्यानकर्षयत्
पातयामास चैवान्यान् घण्टास्वनविमोहितान् असुरान् भुवि पाशेन बद्ध्वा चान्यानकर्षयत् पातयामास चैवान्यान् घण्टास्वनविमोहितान् असुरान् भुवि पाशेन बद्ध्वा चान्यानकर्षयत्
नेक्स्ट केचिद्विधा कृताः तीक्ष्णैः खड्गपातैस्तथा परे केचिद् some of them द्विधा कृता she split them into two केचित् द्विधा कृता तीक्ष्णै खड्गपातः with the very sharp blow of her sword तथा परे विपोथिता निपातेन गदया भुविशेरते some of them with her mace she blew them apart and they all fell dead on the earth ground they fell on the ground afflicted by the blows of her club the uh, the um, the gada
Mace.
mace yes केचिद्विधा कृताति क्वेचिद्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः
केचित् द्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः केचित् द्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः
So now pronouncing those is very important. You have to pronounce the phonetism of Sanskritam is we pronounce every letter and the syllables associated with them. So and then that stikshnaihi, see, kshana and the visarga, all the things are coming together. Khadgapataistatha pare.
खड्गपातैस्तथा परे खड्गपातैस्तथा परे
विपोथिता निपातेन
विपोथिता निपातेन विपोथिता निपातेन
विपोथिता निपातेन
विपोथिता निपातेन विपोथिता निपातेन
गदया भुविशेरते
गदया भुविशेरते गदया भुविशेरते
केचिद्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः खड्गपातैस्तथा परे विपोथिता निपातेन गदया भुविशेरते
केचिद्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः खड्गपातैस्तथा परे विपोथिता निपातेन गदया भुविशेरते.
Okay, that Krutas, Tekshnai, all of them are longer holdings. They're more holdings, right? And then we are saying Vipothitha. It is Vipo. The first one is it is Thi and a Ta, Ta, Ta. Vipothita, Ta, not Vipothitha. Okay. One more time. केचिद्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः खड्गपातैस्तथा परे विपोथितानि पातेन गदया भुविशेरते.
केचित्
केचिद्विधा केचित्
Go ahead.
केचित् द्विधा
No, 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 no. No,
कृतास्ति
scale. केचित्
केचित् द्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः खड्गपातैस्तथा परे विपोथिता निपातेन गदया भुविशेरते. केचिद्विधा कृतास्तीक्ष्णैः खड्गपातैस्तथा परे विपोथिता निपातेन गदया भुविशेरते.
Okay, Vipothita, you are still saying Vipothita, tha, somewhere in between tha and tha, you are pronouncing that tha. I know it's hard to pay attention to tha, ta, da, ta, tha, da, dha, na. Those come very close, and we have to pay attention to those. Okay. Vemuscha kechidrudhiram musalena bhrusham hataha. Now you can go back and see all the different weapons she used and the ones that she's carrying in her hand. This can be a good homework. Where did she use? What are the weapons that she is using? And now next chapter will also have lot of this happening. Vemuscha kechid rudhiram musalena bhrisham hatah. There were some that were struck severely by her pestle. Pestle is musalam. Musalam, uh, that they use ladies now, not ladies nowadays, but ladies in olden days.
locally.
Uh, yeah, Rokali Pravdik, there's nobody knows what Rokali and Rolu is. So this there is a pestle that is used in a stone to beat up different spices and other things, and that is the musalam that is used as a weapon, very powerful weapon. It's almost like a baseball bat, but much more longer and much more heavier. And that she struck some people so severely that they vomited blood and fell on the ground. Kechin nipatita bhumau, they fell on the ground. Bhinna shulena vakshasi, split by the shula of hers, the trident. She, some of them fell on the ground. Vemuscha kechidrudhiram,
वेमुश्च केचिद् रुधिरम् वेमुश्च केचिद् रुधिरम्
kechidrudhiram, you should say, not kechidrudhiram, no, not like English. They have to be chanted together. Vemuscha kechidrudhiram,
वेमुश्च केचिद् रुधिरम्
drudhiram,
रुधिरम् वेमुश्च केचिद् रुधिरम्
musalena भृशं हताः.
मुसलेन भृशं हताः मुसलेन भृशं हताः
केचिन्निपतिता भूमौ,
केचिन्निपतिता भूमौ केचिन्निपतिता भूमौ
भिन्ना शूलेन वक्त्रनेमिः. वक्षसि
भिन्ना शूलेन वक्षसि भिन्ना शूलेन वक्षसि
वेमुश्च केचिद्रुधिरं मुसलेन भृशं हताः केचिन्निपतिता भूमौ भिन्ना शूलेन वक्षसि
वेमुश्च केचिद्रुधिरं वेमुश्च केचिद्रुधिरं मुसलेन वृषं हताः केचिन्निपतिता भूमौ भिन्ना शूलेन वक्षसि वेमुश्च केचिद्रुधिरं मुसलेन भृशं हताः केचिन्निपतिता भूमौ भिन्ना शूलेन वक्षसि
निरन्तर शरौघेण कृताः केचिद्रणाजिरे सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान् मुमुचुस्त्रिदशार्दनाः. She showered so many arrows at this in this war, and pierced on the chest by her. Okay, then they, there were so many that were wounded by the arrows all over their bodies. And here the word sena, sena means porcupine. So many arrows were shot on these demons that they were running like porcupines in the battlefield. It appeared as if several porcupines were running in the battlefield. Nirantara sharaughena
निरन्तरा शरौघेण निरन्तरा शरौघेण
कृताः केचिद्रणाजिरे
कृताः केचिद्रणाजिरे कृताः केचिद्रणाजिरे
सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान्
सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान् सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान्
मुमुचुस्त्रिदशार्दनाः
मुमुचुस्त्रिदशार्दनाः मुमुचुस्त्रिदशार्दनाः.
Next sloka.
We didn't do the full.
Oh, okay. Nirantara sharaughena krutah केचिद्रणाजिरे सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान् मुमुचु स्त्रिदशार्दनाः.
निरन्तरा शरौघेण कृताः केचिद्रणाजिरे सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान् मुमुचुस्त्रिदशार्दनाः निरन्तरा शरौघेण कृताः केचिद्रणाजिरे सेनानुकारिणः प्राणान् मुमुचुस्त्रिदशार्दनाः.
Then केषाञ्चिद् बाहवश्छिन्ना छिन्नग्रीवाः तथा परे शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषाम् अन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः. केषाञ्चिद् बाहवश्छिन्ना. Among them, now you can imagine some running like porcupines in the field, some whose bodies are cut off, split into two. Some fell on the ground, hit by the pestle, vomiting blood. Some with their shoulders cut off, forearms, bhavas some with their necks cut off, chinna griva, tatha pare, siramsi peturanyesha. Some are simply just body trunks with their heads cut off, and others split in the middle. Some split vertical, some split horizontal, some with all arrows shot in the body, some with shoulders cut off, some with heads cut off, some simply trunks, some laid on the ground vomiting blood. What is, you're listening to all of this and saying, what gross description of the war. What is the significance of this gross? This is weird. केषाञ्चित् बाहवश्चिन्ना
केषाञ्चित् बाहवश्छिन्नाः केषाञ्चित् बाहवश्छिन्नाः
छिन्नग्रीवास्तथा परे
छिन्नग्रीवास्तथा परे छिन्नग्रीवास्तथा परे
शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषाम्
शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषाम् शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषाम्
अन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः
अन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः अन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः
केषाञ्चित् बाहवश्छिन्नाश्छिन्नग्रीवास्तथा परे शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषामन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः
केषाञ्चित् बाहवश्छिन्नाश्छिन्नग्रीवास्तथा परे शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषामन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः केषाञ्चित् बाहवश्छिन्नाश्छिन्नग्रीवास्तथा परे शिरांसि पेतुरन्येषामन्ये मध्ये विदारिताः.
It goes on. Vichchinna janghastvapare petruhu urvyam mahasuraha ekabahuhu akshi charanah kechit devya dvidha kruta. And there is more. There are asuras whose shanks were cut off. Jangha, Uru Jangha, and cut off at the shanks, and those that are cut off at the thighs, Urvyam, and Ekabahuhu, some with one arm or an eye, Akshi, or 1 foot, and some Devi cut into two, Kechid Devya Dvidhakritaha. विच्छिन्नजङ्घास्त्वपरे
विच्छिन्नजङ्घास्त्वपरे विच्छिन्नजङ्घास्त्वपरे
पेतुर्व्यां महासुराः
पेतुरुर्व्यां महासुराः पेतुरुर्व्यां महासुराः
एकबाह्वक्षिचरणाः
एकबाह्वक्षिचरणाः एकबाह्वक्षिचरणाः
केचिद्देव्या देव्याद्विधा कृताः
केचिद् देव्याद्विधा कृताः केचिद् देव्याद्विधा कृताः
विच्छिन्नजङ्घास्त्वपरे पेतुरुर्व्यां महासुराः एकबाह्वक्षिचरणाः केचिद्देव्याद्विधा कृताः
विच्छिन्नजङ्घास्त्वपरे पेतुरुर्व्यां महासुराः एकबाह्वक्षिचरणाः केचिद्देव्याद्विधा कृताः विच्छिन्नजङ्घास्त्वपरे पेतुरुर्व्यां महासुराः एकबाह्वक्षिचरणाः केचिद्देव्याद्विधा कृताः
छिन्नेऽपि च अन्ये शिरसि पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः ननृतुश्चापरे तत्र युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः and some trunks chinnepi cha anye sirasi, even though their heads were cut off, patitaf punaruthita, some bodies got up without the heads. Nanrutuschа pare tatra yuddhe turya layashritaah. They were Nanrutuscha apare tatra. Okay. Yuddhe turya layashrita. There is a already we have heard there are some playing murdangas, some blowing conches, some playing conches, and some playing the drums. So there is music going on, and some of these bodies that got up started dancing. Nanrutuscha apare tatra yuddhe turyalaya shrita. According to the beat of the music in the drum, they started dancing. छिन्नेऽपि चान्ये शिरसि
छिन्नेऽपि चान्ये शिरसि छिन्नेऽपि चान्ये शिरसि
पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः
पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः
न ऋतुश्चापरे तत्र
न ऋतुश्चापरे तत्र न ऋतुश्चापरे तत्र
युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः
युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः
छिन्नेऽपि चान्ये शिरसि पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः न ऋतुश्चापरे तत्र युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः
छिन्ने छिन्नेऽपि चान्ये शिरसि पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः न ऋतुश्चापरे तत्र युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः छिन्नेऽपि चान्ये शिरसि पतिताः पुनरुत्थिताः न ऋतुश्चापरे तत्र युद्धे तूर्यलयाश्रिताः
कबन्धाश्चिन्नशिरसः खड्गशक्तिरुष्टिपाणयः तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो देवीम् अन्ये महासुराः kabandha kabandha means only the trunks without the heads chinna sirasaha they all that means these bodies without the heads the trunks without the heads holding khadga, shakti, rishti, panayaha in their hands. They were holding swords, spears, and lances. And they said, Tishtha, Tishtha, iti bhashanto devim. They looked at Devi and they said, Tishtha, Tishtha, be there, said all these asuras to the Devi. Kabandhas chinna sirasa,
Kabandhas
not
chinna
kabha,
shiras.
not kabha. Kabandhas chinna sirasa,
Kabandhas chinna shirasah. Kabandhas chinna shirasah.
khadga shaktrushti panayaka,
Khadgashaktirshtipanayah. Khadgashaktirshtipanayah.
tishtha tishtheti bhashanto.
तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो.
Both are tha only. The first one you are saying tha, second one you are saying ta. Tishta tishta is incorrect. Tishtha tishtha. Sha and tha have to be pronounced the same place, huh? With the emphasis. Tishtha tishteti bhashanto.
तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो.
Bha is Mahaprana.
Yeah. तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो. तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो.
See, these are all stress relieving sounds. Hello. They relieve your stress. Separate say, Tishtha Tishteti Bhashanto. See how much stress is released? Uttishthot Tishtha Govinda. First early morning stress release.
Nice.
Early morning stress release is Suprabhatam. Where you say Uttishta, Uttishta. Okay.
Can you
Tish,
repeat?
repeat, yes, please.
तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो. तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो.
देवी मन्ये महासुराः
देवी मन्ये महासुराः. देवी मन्ये महासुराः.
कबन्धाश्छिन्नशिरसः खड्गशक्तृष्टिपाणयः तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो देवी मन्ये महासुराः
कबन्धाश्छिन्नशिरसः खड्गशक्तिर्ष्टिपाणयः. तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो देवी मन्ये महासुराः. कबन्धाश्छिन्नशिरसः खड्गशक्तिर्ष्टिपाणयः. तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति भाषन्तो देवी मन्ये महासुराः.
Bhashanto, there is dirgham, so you have to give one more matra there. You're cutting one matra off. Now you see, you're doing a fantastic job. And be blessed that you're getting this opportunity to be corrected because many people won't even want to chant. Okay. To be put on the spot and chant is a blessing. So you're doing, I'm noticing how you're pronouncing all the syllables. Very good, Sairama. So just a little more fine tuning on the dirghas, little more fine tuning on the holdings. That's what all of that will make this sound come very perfect. Okay. Patitai Radha. Oh, I didn't. Did I? We did
Yeah,
the
we did.
full. Okay. Patitai Ratha Naga Ashwa Asuraha Cha Vasundhara Agamya Sa Abhavat Tatra Yatra Bhutsa Maharanaha. Patitai, not Patitai. Patitai Ratha with all chariots, not serpents. Naga is, we have to do a Find replace. Naga here is again elephants. There are no serpents in the field, only chariots. What are the four chariots? Elephants, and then Ashwa, the horses, and then the soldiers. Patitai Ratha Naga Ashwa Suraischa Vasundhara. Okay, this should be Suraischa Vasundhara. Now, these Asuras, Asuraischa Vasundhara, these Asuras who fell on the earth with the chariots, horses, elephants, Agamyasa Bhavattatra Yatra Bhutsamaharanaha. And the whole place became inaccessible with so many fallen chariots that part of the earth became impassable because of the heaps of fallen chariots, elephants, horses, and the asuras. So they didn't even know where to run. That's the point, because it became so crowded with all of this stuff. पातितैरथनागाश्वैर्
पातितैरथनागाश्वैर् पातितैरथनागाश्वैर्
असुरैश्च वसुन्धरा
असुरैश्च वसुन्धरा असुरैश्च वसुन्धरा
अगम्या सा भवत्तत्र
अगम्या सा भवत्तत्र अगम्या सा भवत्तत्र
यत्राभूत्समहारणः
यत्राभूत्समहारणः यत्राभूत्समहारणः.
Vasundhara means earth. Patitai, okay. Now, next. Vasundhara means earth. Vasu means all different types of, different types of nourishments. The one who has all these ability to nourish and to flourish. That is Vasu. Next.
Read into full.
Vasuः पातितैरथनागाश्वैरसुरैश्च वसुन्धरा अगम्या सा भवत्तत्र यत्राभूत्समहारणः.
पातितैरथनागाश्वैरसुरैश्च वसुन्धरा अगम्या सा भवत्तत्र यत्राभूत्समहारणः. पातितैरथनागाश्वैरसुरैश्च वसुन्धरा अगम्या सा भवत्तत्र यत्राभूत्समहारणः.
Okay. How many more shlokas said this? The last one? Shonito Mahan. Okay, one more.
No,
Two more. Two more. Two more.
Oh,
Oh, four more.
four
Four
more.
more.
Four more. Okay. Okay. Before we move on, I want to say just some, because I know at 8 o'clock few people will drop off. They have their clocks set. So please sign up for next 17th. 17th is the Saturday. Next Saturday, this coming Saturday, we have the Parayana, the monthly Parayana, and maybe one of you guys can post the sign up link on the chat. And I know it's coming up with the holidays. Many people won't be here, but it doesn't stop. These things won't stop, and we'll continue to do the no postponement. It will be happening all the time, because we won't stop breathing and we don't go vacations for breathing also, right? So let's kind of make sure that there are enough number of people to sign up, and if there are none, then I will assign the slots on Friday. And please watch out the list on Friday evening or whenever it is convenient to you. if you were blessed to chant 2 slots because of not having many signups, but only sign up 1 slot. Only sign up 1 slot. The link Kotu already posted on the thing. Sign up for 1 slot. And for those of you who have been learning for a while, please do sign up and chant. Don't hesitate. There is no okay. Let's go on. Now that is next week, so we'll have Parayana. And today afternoon at 2 o'clock Pacific time, we'll also have the Mahanyasam class, and we are studying the Panchanga Raudrikaranam. Jai Sai Ram. Okay. शोणितौघा महानद्यः सद्यस्तत्र प्रसुस्रुवुः. Shonita means blood. Shonitaughā mahanadyaha sadyaha tatra prasusruvuhu. Rivers of blood started, rivers of blood started flowing in the battlefield right there and then. Madhye cha asura sainyasya varana asura vajinam. In the middle of all those asuras armies, Varana, Vaji, elephants and the horses, Madhyecha, Asura Sainyasya, in the middle of all these soldiers, armies, and the elephants and horses, all of those rivers of blood started flowing. Shonitaugha Mahanadyas.
Shonitaughā mahanadyas. Shonitaughā mahanadyas.
Sadyastatra prasusruvuhu.
Sadyastatra prasusruvuhu. Sadyastatra prasusruvuhu.
Madhye chasura
Madhye chasura sainyasya. Madhye chasura sainyasya.
Varanasuravajinam.
Varanasuravadinam. Varanasuravadinam.
Shonitaugha mahanadyastad. Shonitaugha mahanadyassadyastatra prasusruvuku. Madhye chasura sainyasya varanasuravajinam.
Shonitaughā mahanadyas sadyastatra prasusruvuhu. Madhye chasura sainyasya varanasuravajinam. Shonitaughā mahanadyas sadyastatra prasusruvuhu. Madhye chasura sainyasya varanasuravajinam.
क्षणेन तन्महासैन्यम् असुराणां तथा अंबिका निन्ये क्षयं यथा वह्निः तृणदारु महाचयम्. Ninye Kshayam Yatha. She just destroyed this place, just like fire Vanhi Trunadaru Mahachayam will burn a heap of grass and wood, just like that it will burn it. The mother has Ambika Kshanena Tanmahasainyam Asuranam. She destroyed, just like fire would destroy a heap of grass and wood. She destroyed this Asura armies. That is what Kshanena Tanmahasainyam.
Kshanena tanmahasainyam. Kshanena tanmahasainyam.
Asuranam Tathambika.
Asuranam tathambika. Asuranam tathambika.
Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis. Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis.
Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis. Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis.
Why are you making the whole padam nasal? Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis.
Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis.
Okay, notice yourself after the class. You're chanting the whole padam with nasal, Sairama. No, only the chayai, chayai. That's all you need to yai. It is not nasal. Chayai, no, chayai. So don't make nasal where the young comes. It is yai. Yeah, like I is pronounced. Ninye chayai yatha vanhis.
Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis. Ninye kshayan yatha vanhis.
Trunadaru mahachayam.
Trinadaru mahachayam. Trinadaru mahachayam.
क्षणेन तन्महासैन्यमसुराणां तथाम्बिका निन्ये क्षयं यथा वह्निस्तृणदारुमहाचयम्
क्षणेन तन्महासैन्यमसुराणां तथाम्बिका निन्ये क्षयं यथा वह्निस्तृणदारुमहाचयम्
सच
क्षणे
सिंहो okay sorry go ahead finish
क्षणेन तन्महासैन्यमसुराणां तथाम्बिका निन्ये क्षयं यथा वह्निस्तृणदारुमहाचयम्
सच सिंहो महानादम् उत्सृजत् उत्सृजन् धुत केसरः सच सिंहो महानादमुत्सृजन् धृतकेसरः that usrujan mahanadam she created or uttered this mahanadam great sound who the simham such a simho while shaking the mane how the lion roars when the lion roars it also shakes the mane dhutakesaraha शरीरेभ्यो अमरारीणाम् असूनिव विचिन्वति. Then it started moving in the battlefield, sniffing the bodies to test which one is alive and which one is dead. Yes, the sniffing power of the lion is very powerful. So the lion, Sacha Simho Mahanadam,
Sacha Simho Mahanadam. Sacha Simho Mahanadam.
Utsrujandhuta Kesaraka,
Utsrujandhuta Kesaraha. Utsrujandhuta Kesaraha.
oh, Dhuta Kesaraha.
Utsrujandhuta Kesaraha. Utsrujandhuta Kesaraha.
Okay. शरीरेभ्यो मरारीणाम्
Sharirebhyo mararinam. Sharirebhyo mararinam.
असूनिव विचिन्वति.
Asu niba bichinbati. Asu niba bichinbati.
स च सिंहो महानादमुत्सृजन्धुत केसरः शरीरेभ्यो मरारीणामसूनिव विचिन्वति.
Sacha simho mahanada mutsrujandhuta kesaraha. शरीरेभ्यो मरारीणामसूनिव विचिन्वति स च सिंहो महानादमुत्सृजन्धुतकेसरः शरीरेभ्यो मरारीणामसूनिव विचिन्वति
देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः. In that battle, the soldiers of Devi, Devya Ganaihi, Cha Taistatra Kritam Yuddham Tathasurahi, fought with all these asuras, Yathaisham Tutushur Devah, in such a way that all the Devas in the heaven, Pushpa Vrishti Mucho Divi, Pushpa Vrishti Muchaha, they showered flowers from the heavens, from the Divi. All the gods that were present watching all of this movie, obviously the gods didn't participate in this movie. Who is participating in this fighting battle? The Devi along with the Ganas that came out of her. It's very clear. Now you have to go back and numbers and all of this stuff. Who is fighting the war? देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र
देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र
कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः
कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः
Tathasurai you said. Okay.
तथा
Oh, yes. You have to pay attention to tas and thas. यथैषान्तु तुषुर्देवाः
यथैषान्तु तुषुर्देवाः यथैषान्तु तुषुर्देवाः
पुष्पवृष्टिमुचो दिवि
पुष्पवृष्टिमुचो दिवि पुष्पवृष्टिमुचो दिवि
देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः यथैषान्तु तुषुर्देवाः पुष्पवृष्टिमुचो दिवि
देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः यथैषान्तु तुषुर्देवाः पुष्पवृष्टिमुचो दिवि देव्या गणैश्च तैस्तत्र कृतं युद्धं तथासुरैः यथैषान्तु तुषुर्देवाः पुष्पवृष्टिमुचो दिवि
स्वस्ति श्रीमार्कण्डेय पुराणे सावर्णिके मन्वन्तरे देवी माहात्म्ये महिषासुरसैन्यवधो नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः
स्वस्ति श्रीमार्कण्डेय पुराणे सावर्णिके मन्वन्तरे देवी माहात्म्ये महिषासुरसैन्यवधो नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः स्वस्ति श्रीमार्कण्डेय पुराणे सावर्णिके मन्वन्तरे देवी माहात्म्ये महिषासुरसैन्यवधो नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः
ॐ श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु
ॐ श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु ॐ श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु
Thank you, Chandrasekhar. With your help, we are able to complete this, even though we took 30 minutes more. And let's look at a few questions before we close today's session. Yes, let's see here.
Sairam uncle, we were discussing numbers before, and we also were talking about whether the battle happened on Earth or not. And in the last couple of shlokas here, we looked at the name Vasundhara Bhuvi mentioned in the shlokas.
Yes, the battle can be happening in the sky, but the bodies can be falling on the earth. There is what is called gravity. Good catch, good catch. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but make fun of your comment, but it is true. So there is a mention about Vasundhara. The context of numbers, what we are trying to discuss is that who fought in the battlefield is the numbers, right? And are those numbers relevant to the earthly plane? That is the question, right?
I
So
do, I do
one
have
one
a
minute,
few.
1 minute, ma, 1 minute, ma, please, 1 second. Hold your horses, as they call. um, so let's look at this in the context of the numbers associated with the demons, and are those numbers humans? No, they are the demons numbers. Who is fighting the war? The demons are fighting the war. There is no mention of the humans fighting the war. Whether the war happened on an earthly plane, that was a comment made by Chandrasekhar. That was his comment. But the question about the numbers still is, the numbers will not represent that of only humans. We were talking about current population of humans being whatever 6 or 7 billion. How is it possible that hundreds of thousands of years ago that many number of humans existed? May not, but the numbers could be real when associated with the demons and the gods. That is what we're talking about. Yes, is that clarification good? Yeah. Okay. So there is a Cecilia. Yes, you had a burning
Okay.
comment. Yeah.
And in the beginning, when we were talking about numbers, some thought come into my mind, and maybe it's something stupid, but I want to share. When we have a thought, well, no, let me say different. We are three parts in the same time. We are currents between thoughts and words and speech. This affect our body. Once I read and study, and that said that every time that we have a thought, there is a chemical substance that it's created in our body. They're named neuropeptide cells, and this feed all our body. So if we have a negative thought, this neuropeptide, the composition, chemical composition depends, there are few, depends of the kind of the thought that we have. So if we have a negative feeling, negative thought, and all this stuff, we create in our body cells that feed our body in this chemical composition. So this is not happening with humans, but it's happening in our body. It's this war, it's happening in our body. And what I thought is maybe this millions and trillions of soldiers and elephant and all this stuff are related with the functions of our body, with our cells and all this stuff. We can get sick if we are having negative thoughts all the times. That's what I thought. Maybe it's stupid, but I want to share.
No, no. If there's nothing called stupid, elephant body is being felt by a lot of blind people. Whatever you feel is right. Okay, because there is no blind person that is wrong. Blind person is correct. In perception, the blind person is correct. But in totality is what is important. So your observation is well taken. And just to clarify a little bit, as a scientist who studied biology and some of neuroscience, our feelings don't create cells. Our feelings, yes, they do release chemicals, and that chemical, I think I talked about this already, where two neurons at the synapse, the gap between the two neurons, that's where the chemicals are released, and there is something happening in that gap. So everything is happening in space. One point. Second point, do feelings create chemicals, or chemicals result in feelings? Okay. So every scientist, neurochemist have tried to create feeling, creating the same mixture of exact hormones, but somehow they could not create the feeling. Okay, it's very important. Chemicals don't create the feeling. It's the feeling that resulted in the release of the chemicals. So if chemical is a feeling, then if you combine the same chemicals, you should be able to see the same neuronal response, and they couldn't. They couldn't. These are real experiments. So you can create the mixture of the chemicals resulting from the feeling. You can't create the feeling by mixing the chemicals. Yes, this is very clear. Science. If we want to talk science, we should talk science. Here is the problem with a lot of spiritual people. They're neither in science nor in spirituality. So they combine these two. And I watched somebody, I was talking about the Nobel Prize in in physics this time, which is a phenomenal Nobel Prize. I mean, it's an amazing discovery that they were, try to do this quantum physics experiments where they're separating the particles far away and trying to understand how one spin state of the other influences the other spin state, independent of the distance, etc. Thereby, actually, to some extent, disproving the theory of relativity by Einstein. And then one guy writes in a WhatsApp message, "Oh, we discovered all of this long time. Are you kidding me?" No, you didn't. Yes, there were rishis that experienced it, and through their, it is absolutely true that they have created this, understood the universe within themselves. But don't tell people that, whatever scientists are doing today, spiritual, our Sanatana Dharma already figured it out. That is nonsense. Okay, I'm not trying to debate what Cecilia is saying here. I'm going to a different topic. So acknowledge that science is incredible. Science is amazing. Science has done such great benefit for the society. Only the difference between spirituality and science, I'll tell you. If you are able to reproduce what a rishi had done and replicated it many times, then I know that your spiritual observation is replicable, it is reproducible, it is scalable, all of that stuff. What Newton discovered was replicated, scaled, and executed to practicality for people to be benefited by the discoveries of the great scientists like Einstein, Newton, etc. No question about that. So let's not try to talk science and spirit, and science can never ever 100% prove the subject matter, because science is always about the object and observation, even quantum physics and mechanics, etc. So I am of this category where you look at science as science, acknowledge it, appreciate it, love it, and say that science is great. Yes, spirituality is great, science is great. Both are great in its own way. Don't say that spirituality is greater than science, because our rishis already figured it out. Yes, they figured it out, and they executed values in daily lives. If every one of us are able to practice that life of a rishi, practice it, then we shall have the experiences related to what the rishis have. Unless those values come into picture, unless we transform ourselves with those values, we cannot replicate what rishis did. We will all be in a different world. Okay, that is a different topic. Somehow it got because in WhatsApp group, the problem is this WhatsApp group, Twitters, etc. People are posting whatever nonsense they want, and then we read that nonsense and we believe that that nonsense is real because they're talking the same nonsense you believe in. And so when you believe the same nonsense, you suddenly become very much aligned. So it is true. The feelings release chemicals, and these, in the context of the numbers that we talk about, your observation is very beautiful. It is exactly right. You can propagate such feelings, and if each feeling becomes a demon, and such feelings that are that are exponentially higher can become all these asuras. That is a very nice observation. Okay, the neurons, chemicals, etc., don't get confused with
Thank you.
It is our own observation in our own experience. One feeling will create an exponentially higher amount of feelings and stress, etc., right? This is true. Okay, one negative feeling can propagate, boom 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 boom. One negative person can create a chaos amongst hundreds of people with their feelings. This is true. Yes, hello. Yes or no? Yes,
Yes,
one
yes, yes.
one negative person with their negative attitude can create disturbance in the same ecosystem, and that is propagation of one negative feeling or one negative behavior or one negative word or negative meaning. That which causes disturbance of equanimity is what we call as negative. Yes, this is very true. Thank you for yes, this is another comment from Babita. Yes, what we think as one individual is not actually one individual. So let's put feelings aside. Even physically speaking, our body is composed of the number of cells in your body. Okay, number of cells in our body multiplied by 10, at least 10, is the number of microbes that are present in one human being's body. So, how many bodies are within one body? So, one thing about feeling, the other thing about physical matter. Technically speaking, those bacteria physically are not you, but they're present within you. It's called microbiome. The whole study of microbiota is another science that is an amazing amount of science that medicine did not recognize for decades, that that we are an ecosystem, that we are not one individual, that we are an ecosystem. Each individual is an ecosystem. Yes, thank you. Now there is a question from Sita Papu. Yes, when you apply this battle in ourselves internally, as we progress or improve, how we direct all these forces that we have away from the negative directions and making an effort to direct them in positive ways. Are these the types of effects we see in ourselves? Very beautiful question. Yeah, it's the right question for
Can you,
somebody
can
who
you
has.
repeat the question, please?
When you apply this, in essence what she's saying is, as we make progress in recognizing that there some of these competencies within us are also weaknesses, and then we recognize that these are our strengths and not weaknesses, or we move away from weakness more into the strength, how do we then use those competencies and those strengths that are within us, how do we use them? Or do we use them? Do we need to use them, or how do we use? It's a very important question. Like same question Margaret from Australia also wrote. Yes. Welcome to this thing called Mahanyasam. How do we use that? How do you use that? How do you use this incredible ability to listen carefully, see carefully, feel intensely? Yes, these are all strengths. Our ability to perceive is an amazing strength. Do you actually see something with so much attention and care? Do you actually listen to something with so much attention and care? Do you feel something with attention and care? And all that ability to use that for yourself is what is called negativity. All of those strengths, the strength to observe the objective world and use that information only for your individual self, is what is called negative. But to actually allow that to expand beyond what your awareness is of yourself as this individual false identification with universal identification, is expansion. That is the spirituality. Therefore, Bhagavan said, expansion is my life. My life is my message. Expansion is my life. Right? So, how do you use that strength? And there is no limit. There is absolutely no limit because the universe is infinite. Am I making sense to all of you? Where do you actually place your awareness right now? Where is all your awareness placed right now? It is limited just to what you think is you. That's all. Am I making sense? Hello, Sairam? Yes, yes. Sham is completely agreeing. Some people are just looking at me as if they are deer in headlights. Um, is that the truth or not? If somebody asks you who you are, your immediate identification is just limited to this body. Everything else you see as different from yourself. So you refer to that as mine, or that, or this. In Telugu, in what Bhagavan Ramana says, you are always calling it as that. You are calling as this. You are calling as something else. Have you ever placed yourself in that and said, that is I, thou art that, I am that, not that is mine, or that is different? You understand, Sairam? This is now, to do that, how much of attention of the senses is required, how much of strength of these perception tools is required. And that is what is spirituality, truly speaking. I hope I even touched Sitama's question a little bit. Yes, ma? You have any further clarification on that?
I was wondering, knowing this is not the same as actually becoming that
Being that.
and be that.
Be that, not become that. This is very
Be,
different.
yes,
Yes,
be that.
be that.
But since we don't know that, while we are moving in that direction, the battle described, is that what's happening, what happens inside of us?
Yes, the battle is exactly that. As you try to be that expansive fold, something is always limiting you. It doesn't want you to expand. It doesn't want you to be that, not become that. Not simply know that, but to be aware of that. That mother's Aurobindo ashram mother, to know is good, to be is better, to be that is perfect. Right now, what we only know, we don't even understand. We simply know. What do you do after you know? What do you do after you know? And this is a very beautiful question, perhaps answered very succinctly by Bhagavan himself. The spiritually wise one, Jnani, thought for the day yesterday, has one pointed devotion, while others have devotion to multiple objects. Others are attached to objects or states they desire, and to achieve those, they are attached to the Lord. This is very beautiful. How many of us truly go to Sai Center for Swami's sake? Not when you have to go sing a bhajan, not when your children are doing SSC plays, nor that you have any no agenda or you are in some kind of trouble and you want to go have conversation with him. I'm not saying those are there's no judgment about them. Please understand this. I'm not judging those individuals or judging those circumstances. But what I'm asking is, truly speaking, how many of us actually go to Sai Center to connect with Swami and for sake of Swami? How many of us actually go to Puttaparthi or any of these pilgrimages or holy places simply for the love you have for the divinity? That's what he's saying. They desire, and to achieve those, they are attached to the Lord. People are attached to multiple objects, and they are attached to objects or states they desire, and to achieve those, they are attached to the Lord. So, what does a jnani do? The jnani actually sees the Lord in the objective world. And if you substitute Lord as yourself, then you're talking, that is what you do. And to do that, you require amazing amount of sensual focus and perception and presence. That's what we do with those. Yes, it is easy said than done, but it is possible because several have replicated and shown it. Um, Sri Vidya, Sai Ram Shekhar, there is a war between the armies of negative thoughts, chemicals in human mind, and with the positive powers of Devi. What is the symbolic reference to rishis and devas who are on the sidelines chanting and praising Devi? Yes, when the food is put by the hand in the mouth, are there others that are benefited by it? And thank God you fed me. Same scenario. Am I making, is that metaphor working? It's actually the food that doesn't taste the food, that's putting the food in the mouth. And it is the mouth that's actually tasting and enjoying the food. But when the food goes through the esophagus and into the stomach, it is broken down and giving energy to every cell in the body. This guy is saying, hey, I don't taste the food, therefore, why should I put it in you? And if this guy doesn't taste and put it in the mouth, So you see the system, how the system is working. So they're not different from Devi. Even the demons are not different from Devi. This is system. Your thoughts are coming from you only. But the question is, how are those competencies or thoughts aligned? That is the context of this war we are talking about. It's so amazing to connect it this way. As we were talking about, there were more demons that are coming. How are those aligned? With what intent are they aligned? That is the question. What is the symbolic reference to the rishis and the devas? Each cell in your body is cherishing. Oh my God, I got the energy. But the cell did not neither put the food in the mouth nor enjoy the food. The action is done by the action is really done by the hand and the mouth, because if it didn't taste it, it won't send it inside. It will spit it. But this guy didn't enjoy the food, and the cell in the body did not enjoy the food. They only got the benefit from the food. But the whole system is working. Okay. What is the significance of Rishi saying Mahotsava? Oh, Maha Utsava. It's a festival, celebration, no? That's a very, very important question. Why is the Rishi calling this Yuddham, the war, as a festival of war? That's the question, right? Chandrasekhar, you're asking?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes. Why is this called festival of war? And yesterday I touched upon this. When negativity, we are calling it negativity because it causes a disturbance of the system. Something that is still, call it positive. Something that is shaken up, call it negative. That's all it is. Even using those word negativity, don't think that it is a bad thing. It is atrocious. When it really goes to that extent, then when it becomes destructive. But even if you look at this calling as a war, what is this war? The war is something causes fear in us. A war started. Yes, did a war start? Sairam, did a war start when fear came into you? Yes. Is there a war started already? And is there a war started for some people? I mean, um, just to say, if they observe something, they just be quiet and they absorb all that. They don't speak a single word, but it causes tremendous conflict in them. And the war is going on sometimes for decades and ages because of suppression, oppression. Is there a war going on in those people when they're oppressed, suppressed? But they won't express it. Why? Because intimidated by whatever the circumstance, the factors, etc. You carry the war throughout your life sometimes. Some wars are carried throughout life. Hello, Sairam. Am I depressing you guys or what? Are you listening? Are you looking at the same thing as I'm looking? But if you don't look, if you don't see it clearly, you will carry the war for lifetime. The moment you see it and you deal with it, how do you deal with that war? Follow the master, face the devil, fight to the end, finish the game. If it is a game, it is festival. If you look at it as a war, then you are distressed, you are stressed out, you are, man, I'm fighting with this thing for ages, etc. But the first thing is follow the master. What does the master do? Follow the master means in you there is this master called Devi. Follow her or Deva, whatever, Mahadeva, Mahadevi. Again, these genders don't matter. Then you face the devil. You face the devil, not run away from the devil. 99% or more they don't want a conflict, period. Huh? You notice something atrocious and you know it is wrong, but you don't want conflict. And to avoid the conflict, you run away from it. But remember, the conflict has run away from you. The conflict has not run away from you. Your mind is temporarily escaping that conflict, avoiding that conflict. Inadvertently, our actions, our thoughts, our words, our behavior, how does it cause conflicts that is now imposing our conflict on us? But that's not the point I'm talking about. And this face the devil, fight to the end, finish the game. Now, the very first word is master. At the end of the day, your mind will not fight with this conflict. You have to remember this because it's the mind that wants to run away from the conflict. So, by logic, it won't fight the conflict. By logic, your mind won't fight the conflict because it's the one that is carrying it. And how does it drop it? Only when the master faces it. And who is this master? How do you actually invoke this master? And how does that result in, now then it becomes Yuddha Mahotsava, a festival of war. Because once you figure this out, the next time conflict comes, you don't run away from it. It's fun. Come on, bring it on. I want to have fun. I want to have fun. So the great spiritual souls, it's not a conflict for them. It becomes a play. Therefore, Anayastanana Devi, Anayastanana Devi. There is no sign of even stress or strain on the face of the Devi while fighting this war. Why? Because it's a play. It's a festival. Okay, Sairam.
So it's not so mind is Arjuna trying to run away from the war.
No, mind is not Arjuna. Now I have to go back to the lesson on the chariot.
It's
chariot. Okay. No, on the chariot. We went through this. What is the
okay.
what is the chariot? Who is Krishna in the chariot? What is the chariot? Who is Arjuna in the chariot? Who is Krishna? What are the horses? What are the roads? Swami described this. Go type such chariot and Swami Satya Sai Baba. Arjuna is not the mind. Who is Arjuna?
The intellect.
No, incorrect. We went through this over and over again. Hello, what is the chariot?
Body.
Body. Amma, that is clear. We are very connected to very quickly identify with body. Definitely. Okay. What are the horses?
The sense.
The senses.
Oh, good. Who is Arjuna?
Mind.
No,
No.
not the mind.
Action.
No, not the action.
The individual jiva.
The jiva, the individual jiva. He is the right one, right? Who is and then who is he's the passenger in the car, and he has a driver. Who is the driver?
Krishna. Krishna.
And who is Krishna?
He is the intellect.
Intellect. Intellect.
The intellect.
Ah, the intellect. Yes. So some people get offended by it. Oh, no, no, no. I mean, Krishna is my God. Vaishnavites will have a problem with that. How can my God be there? The point is, yes, your buddhi. He, it's the one that's directing. Actually, the mind is the reins that hold the horses. That's the mind. The rein, Rein, the reins. Okay. Now, why did I come to the Chaturvedala? The four Vedas ask the question. Um, who, who is the mind? Okay, the mind is not Arjuna. Okay, very good. Less mind is the reins. Okay. If I hanker after paltry fleeting pleasures that cater to the five senses, then will come to my mind millions of demons. Oh my God. Esperanza, did you write that in Spanish and translate it into English, or did you? Yes, yes. Very nice. I want to
Yeah.
read what she wrote.
Yes.
If I hanker after paltry fleeting pleasures that cater to the five senses, then will come to my mind millions of demons. That's the numbers. Awesome. My God, that's so profound. She wrote a poetry there. Yes, so many realized souls on this Veda study. Some released, some realized. Okay, okay. Are there any other questions? Otherwise,
Yeah.
yes.
Sai Ramana. Just wanted to share a thought. We were just discussing about the demons, the numbers, their significance as per your homework. And there was one aspect of it saying, if there are so many millions and millions of impurities signified by those asuras, when are we going to clean this up? How are we going to clean this up? So I mean, I know you have addressed that even in the sessions actually. Once when light comes in, darkness vanishes off, or all that. The Devi is the one. The other thing which also came up in the discussion was
No. Before you move on, it's very important to know those those are not actually what we are calling as the qualities of the demons as described by their names. Ability to have laser focus, mind blowing capacity, ability to convince millions of people in one shot, ability to have bodily physical strength associated with 60,000 people or 10 million, ability to have the endurance associated with that. So that's why when I asked you to do the homework, your immediate assumption is that these qualities are bad, these competencies are bad. The competencies are not bad, they are strengths. Arey, look at somebody like a Ravana. Amazing intellect. Such a learned guy. Mastered all the 64 types of art, Shastras, Vedas. Absolutely phenomenal master. Even more greater than Rama. Rama didn't have that ability to chant so many Veda mantras. Rama 90% of the time enjoying his life in the forest with his wife and brother. He didn't have time to study that much. He only studied in Vasishta. But Ravana, what a great devotee, what an amazing strength he has. Not ordinary. So none of these asuras, their strengths are not the issue. So don't look at them as impure. How did they become impure? That's the question we have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at that. So don't call the competency of these asuras bad.
Yeah, I mean, what I meant to say was uh, they are named bad or impurities primarily because it prevents you from expanding towards that
No, no,
oneness of.
no, no. Again, Sairama, this is the reason I'm glad you guys are contemplating on this. It's wonderful that you are having a discussion about this. But the moment we use the word demon, we immediately call it a bad thing. So it is not these army chiefs and their abilities that are bad. What is the source of the problem?
Associating with the bad. Why, if they're so capable, why are they not following the master? Why are they following the?
No, hold on. No. You answered the question. Let's take the mass. What happens is you have to have the laser focus like Chamara to look at something. So these capacities or competencies that are bestowed within us, they are not the ones that are bad. We have to constantly ask the question, is my competency with what intent is it aligned with? What is it associated with? Is the question we have to ask. So, what is it associated with? All these army generals, their competencies are associated with who?
The pride. Majestic, passionate,
Mahishasu.
passionate.
Answers.
Mahishasura.
Mahishasura.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
answer is Mahishasura. And who is Mahishasura? The bull in the China shop. The guy that wants to achieve anything at any cost. Have you seen this in the corporate world? Hello, Sairam, have you seen this in the corporate world? Achieve anything at any cost? Yes or no? 100,
Yes, too much.
100%. So it is all these competencies are now identified with that Rajasic, passionate mind that wants to achieve anything at any cost. So don't throw away the army chiefs. Like just like in the story of Mahabharata, Bhishma, what kind of a warrior he is? Drona, Krupacharya, Ashwathama, amazing competencies. Why did they all fall at the end? Because they were associated with this Duryodhana. Now we will come to the names later on. Very beautiful names you will hear. So now by doing this, what we did? By doing this, what we did, we are just doing this yajna to say, hey, I have this competency. That competency is not the bad thing. How am I using that competency? How am I using that competency? If I don't have competency, it is great to have that human competency. At least strive to achieve that. So it all comes down to are your competencies associated with human values?
Yeah. So an example of extrapolating that thing would be like the sense of doership was a competency. Instead of thinking I am the doer, Swami shift that the intention to the universe is the doer or Swami is the doer. Something like that. Is that how you interpret that? So the
even
doership.
even even more fundamental in that is you are you are the doer in the context of executing the action, but you are not the owner of the result, nor are you doing it for the sake of the result. That is what is the most important thing. It is not karma tyagam. It is not renunciating the action. It is karma phalatyagam. It is renunciating the result of the action. Eh, So I'm not trying to, it's a very important thing that we should have. So who gives that clarity? What gives that clarity? How your competencies should be aligned with? What gives that clarity?
The intellect.
Yes, the intellect. And therefore, that's the most important instrument. Now, the question that Sujata Garu was saying, why are these competencies not aligned with God? Because if there's so no, what in the question that she's asking is, she separated the army generals from the Mahishasura, and then saying, why are these army generals not aligning with Devi or God? But the fundamental error in that is, Mahishasura is the compendium of all these army generals. You, the individual, you are not separate from these army generals, huh? You are not separate from your competencies. Yeah. So therefore, are we clear on this? Yes. Are we getting,
Yes.
this is a, we didn't have this kind of study circle in the first round. So I always say people that join the second round are actually learning it perfectly and properly with all the nyasas. Why do we do all these nyasas to begin with? And that's what I was explaining in the Mahanyasam class with the preamble, and also explained it during the nyasas, that why do we need to do diksha, mantra japam? Why do I need to do all of this? Because without all those tools, you will not fine tune your instruments, the fundamental instruments being the intellect and the mind. If you don't fine tune this sadhana, then you may be again falsely identified spirituality. Your tools are not perfect enough to guide you. If your tools are not perfect enough to guide you, it's like you're running on a I don't want to say it, but you're running in a autopilot car that is not programmed properly. That's a disaster, not only for you but for others on the on the road. So that is the problem. Yes, that is the question that so that's the reason why this beautiful sarva chaitanya rupam tam adyam vidyancha dhimahi buddhim yanaf prachodayat. So what misguides all these competencies? It is buddhi that misguides these competencies. How does, because that buddhi is the driver. The driver is corrupt. So when the driver doesn't know where and where is the driver taking you? Please stay with me one more on the journey, and then I'll drop you off. Okay, I'm I'm the Uber driver here. So the guy that is driving, if he doesn't or she doesn't know the proper directions, they'll take you to the wrong place. And now to get to the right place, who should be the one that should be? You are the passenger, you are not the driver. You just got into this taxi that is designed based on, you are just a passenger. Tomorrow, you are not attached. If this Tesla becomes old, you will sell it and buy new Tesla. You are not saying, "Hey, I don't want to drive in a car." No, you will keep on driving until your journey is complete, and you will change the cars. Therefore, if your car is your body, you will drop off the car. You will buy new car. If your house is old, you will sell this house and not right now in Bay Area, but uh, so all these things are factored in. So, brothers and sisters, so what is the most important tool? This is buddhi, and that buddhi is programmed. The script is written already for that buddhi based on the past actions and the results and the impressions. Therefore, the path for that buddhi is already set. The Google map is already set. Now, you as a passenger, if your buddhi or your driver is properly trained, given the right direction and the place where you need to go, then that driver will take you to the right place and drop you off at your destination safely. And if that driver is not properly trained, then you will end up in a wrong place on the wrong directions. No question about that. Yes.
So you have to reprogram whatever is already programmed. You have to reprogram by prayers and all that.
Yeah. Who has to reprogram?
Individual
Manas,
jiva
Okay. How are you going to reprogram?
with sadhana only.
There, yes, the sadhana goes without saying. So the sadhana entails what?
Practice,
Values.
practice.
So what's the mantra that reprograms your intellect?
Baba.
What is the
Gayatri.
mantra, da? Not the Baba. What is the mantra that
Gayatri.
Gayatri? Yes. It's all about reprogramming the intellect. Have you ever focused on that? Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. Reprogram my intellect. Not me. Naha means our intellects. Ayyo, now you understand why Gayatri is so important and why Bhagavan emphasized Gayatri as the most fundamental mantra, and it is said in Vedas, Gayatriya Paramo Mantra. There is no supreme mantra other than Gayatri. Gayatri is so fundamental. Gayatri, Sandhya Vandanam, Upasana is very important to reprogram the intellect. And if you don't know all of that stuff, chanting at least Gayatri 108 times a day, if you can do all of that in one shot, program it in 4 times. Early in the morning, 24 divided into 24. All these amendments are given. But what is fundamentally Gayatri? Reprogramming intellect. And how are you reprogramming that intellect? And you are reprogramming that intellect by saying, we meditate upon that divine resplendent effulgence pervading the gross, the subtle, and the causal. May that propel my intellect. This is Gayatri Mantra. It's nothing to do with some woman with 5 faces, 15 hands, and all of that stuff. Swami said very simply, what is Gayatri, Swami? Light, Ra, light. Light. And why is light important? For journey, if there is no light, you will end up in ditches. So clarity. And then this is safety belt. Hello. Wearing this, wearing this is safety belt. Hey, Chaturvedala, వింటున్నావా? Yeah. This is safety belt. How do you wear a safety belt? వాడి గంధం వేసుకోలేదు నాకు తెలుసు వేసుకున్నావా
లేదు అది మాత్రం యూనిఫామ్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ యూనిఫామ్.
Okay, that is what it is about. So program the intellect. Okay, good. We're good. Thank you. 55 people still remaining. I really admire your endurance in listening. Okay. Last question. Any last question?
No, homework for next week, na upcoming week.
Homework. I already said what instruments the mother is using.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
What is
Okay.
she using for?
What is she using for? Yeah. No, please don't write the homework as you listen to the class. You have to contemplate on it. It has to be set in. Like Shakti Rajshekaran is, you are doing as a group, re-study of this. This is very beautiful. But the point of view of jnana, or Bhagavan calls it as Advaita, it never it never judges one thing as good, another thing as bad, and all of that stuff. And the duality of observation is created by lack of completely aware mind, because its intent is to judge. Why does it judge? Good, bad is not what it should judge. What is the focus of the intellect should be? not good or bad, even more fundamental, to focus on the real versus the unreal. Focus on the real versus unreal. Asat to Sat. Asat means unreal, Sat means real. Then the next question is, what is real? What is the definition of real? Yes. What is the definition of real? Hello.
The one that doesn't change from the past, present, or future.
Exactly. That which is changeless is real. That which changes is unreal. So when we apply that principle, what is it that you recognize as changing about you?
Our body, our mind, our thoughts,
Oh, no, no,
our
just body.
surroundings.
First body, mind thoughts, anta దూరం వెళ్ళరు. People don't even go that far. First is body. You notice some white hair, gray hair comes, wrinkle comes. You notice it. It is changing. Then that is constant. So that which is changing is unreal. Therefore, that which is not changing is real. And therefore, what is reprogramming the intellect towards what?
What is real?
To what is real. And so, what is Gayatri Mantra saying? That divine resplendent effulgence, the changeless in the gross, subtle, and the causal, that divine resplendent effulgence, the changeless in the gross, subtle, and causal, may that stimulate my intellect.
So I have a question. On a day-to-day life, we see things like with our perspective, what is good and what is bad. Maybe like somebody likes clean place and somebody like little messy. And then you come to the judgment that, okay, this is messy for me. And how do you deal these things with intellect? If nothing is good or bad at certain level, then the conflict still remains in the mind because of your perspective of looking at something in different way.
Yes, so what caused the conflict?
It's your perspective.
No, no, you have a dirty place and you observed a dirty place and it caused a conflict. Then what do we do to address the conflict?
We
To
clean.
go,
Just clean it up.
What
But,
if
but
it's not our house and we don't have the right to clean it?
no, no, then no, hold on 1 second. So it's not your house. You went to some dirty place. Why did you even go to a dirty place? Okay, so first you lost control of yourself. Okay, you went to somebody's place and the house is not clean, and then it caused a conflict in you.
no, sorry, even if it is your house, but
Oh,
there
no,
are
your house,
different
clean it
people.
up. You have every right to clean up your own messy house.
Yeah, but now if there's someone who's always making the mess and you have to clean it.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's called husband or what?
So
No, you have to look at what causes the conflict. So your quote unquote perspective, your mind could not deal with chaos created by a mess, isn't it? Yes, that's what is the fundamental observation. But then you didn't focus on the problem. What do you do? What is the immediate next step we do? Turn it to the person. Then the conflict became the person, not the problem. The conflict is the problem, not the person. Then once it became person, person is something you can relate to, therefore immediately you react. So just make an observation of all of this, then immediately what happened was it turned. See, I'll be honest with you. I mean, sorry to all the Sai Center folks in Sacramento. I go to the Sai Center. There are 3 shoe racks. Always people don't want to put their shoes on shoe racks. Okay? 90% of the time when I notice it, I just put the shoes in the shoe rack because it caused a conflict in me.
So the question is, do your mind register that somebody has done something which is not okay, or just it doesn't even register in the mind?
What is the? It is not the somebody that caused the problem. You personified that, no? So
Okay, got it.
the conflict is not the person. The conflict is the result of the action of somebody that caused the conflict. Emma, I hope that is made
No,
clear.
no, I understood. I
So we
understood.
can't separate because we ourselves identify so much with our own body and the mind. The immediate thing that we do is also I put that identification of the problem on the person. So what is the fundamental problem? You yourself can't identify yourself beyond your own body and your mind. Therefore, when you see a problem, it is immediately the problem is superimposed on that person and on that, and then you begin to deal with that separate. But actually, the perception of the problem is in you. The problem is that making clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, then what I do with all the adharma and everything that happens in the world, how do I deal with it? Yes, this is exactly what is a Devi Mahatyam that we are studying. That is exactly what we are studying. But we are not connected to that yet because we are, for us, the context of this whole situation is we are seeing even this Devi Matyam as an external manifestation of some battle between some Devi and demons, etc. We never internalized it and observed it inside. Okay, that's because we want to play. Okay, what is Zilimir? Are you ready to play? Mm, yes. The cancer, one more, couple more comments, Amma, will drop off. The cancer cells are always in our body. Now she's talking science again. Cecilia, one more science tip from you today. The cancer cells are always in our body.
This is from back.
Oh, way back. Oh, the cancer cells are always in our body. They activated when our immune system. Oh, are you a scientist by profession?
No.
Okay. Because you're writing all the scientific terms, immune system does not work, and this is because of fear. Our body gets sick because of our thoughts and fears. Okay, right. Okay. Um, that's not a question. To work without attachment to the fruits of action is the supreme yoga. That is also correct. Right perception. Sairam. Okay. Sairam. 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 Okay. Jai Sairam. ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु स्वस्तिः प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेण मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की।